She joining with me, now we getting groovy. Hot as jacuzzi, so shawty won't you slow it down. See the other fellas, like baby, they try to do it like me, it ain't the same. Front to back, shawty side to side, and lean you with us whole tonight. Cause it's so fly, you should come to my crib. Yeah, I go flip on if you want you, you should be my girl. I got a trust for you, all of my own for you. Waking up 3 o'clock in the morning for you. I'm never let you, baby, but if you let me, baby, know that I'ma put it down. Cause it's so fun, girl. You come to my crib. Oh, no. Why we come flip it, baby? You know but you should be my girl.
Hey, 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 it's your girl Nay coming to you with another episode of As Told by Nay, the podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's talk about it. Because the video not up there. I don't know. It's not nothing. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Nay here with another episode of As Told by Nay, the podcast. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday thus far. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
I'm well. So y'all know this young man's face. He's been here a couple different times on the show with me, Mr. Leroy. And we're going to do part 2, which is a follow-up to last week's show, Living in the Gray. And with that, we're talking about interracial dating. And a little deeper than that, black and white. Black and white make gray, right? So normally, I start my show off with the little excuse me come again question. But we're not going to do that. We're going to jump right into the dialogue because y'all already know who he is. This is a hot topic. I've gotten so many questions, comments, and concerns since last week's show. So we just going to go right into it and get the combo going. So Leroy, when I say living in the gray, we're talking about black and white dating. One question that came up stemming from last week, because it was me and Elena did that show, and it was coming from the perspective of black women. And we kind of discussed a little bit of the stereotypes around why men don't date black women or why they prefer white women. When it comes to stereotypes, have you ever heard the one that black women are difficult and that's why they date white men? How do you feel about those different stereotypes when it comes to interracial dating?
So I have heard that black women are difficult, and I know I have a couple of friends. One of my best friends actually who will not date black anymore after black relationship coming out of college. However, my opinion of it is you can't handle someone holding you accountable. So that's my personal opinion. Like a black woman is a strong woman. She's not a doormat. So you can't just step on her. So a white woman sees you mainly for whatever your title, sometimes your money, even if what you can do for her emotionally. Whereas a black woman, sometimes you might not satisfy her emotionally, but she's going to commit and still be there for you.
So do you date white women? Have you ever dated white women? I'll put you on the spot. Have you ever?
I'm putting this. I've never brought a white woman home to my mother, grandmother, cousin, sister, daddy, uncle, stepdaddy. No, but have I dealt with white women? That's different. So we can be friends, and dating to me is like, so doing what grown people do. Yes, if we have a mutual attraction, I might touch you, but try to build after that. No, because I know there's going to be dynamics that we won't be able to break. There's going to be things and obstacles that we can't get over that historically we didn't create, but that's just how the cookie crumbles.
So, and I'm just want to go ahead and put this disclaimer out here before we dive into this conversation a little more. This is not me. This is my stance, and then you can speak your stance. I'm not bashing anyone who decides to date outside their race. I'm not saying that it's something wrong for someone to date outside their race. It's not personally something that I would do, and I, from a personal standpoint, just don't understand it. But it's not. This is not me bashing interracial relationships. It's just a conversation. It was brought to me, and so we're gonna talk about it. That's what As Told by Nay is for. We're gonna talk about it.
And that's a great disclaimer. And for me to disclaim, my thing is this: I've seen beautiful white women. I've seen white women that I've got along with wonderfully. Like during conversation, we had a lot in common. We probably have more in common than other black women through like our personal dialogue and experiences. But there are obstacles within just the family dynamic that, and just the society dynamic that you just don't want to deal with. You know, it's a real obstacle. It's like someone in her family don't like you, and someone in your family don't like her, and it has nothing to do with their personality. So that's a choice. To a certain extent, if you can interracially live with someone, you have a different set of courage. Like you signing up for you're a salmon. You signing up to swim upstream.
Okay.
You know, like you're salmon, which I respect every interracial couple. You know,
right.
It's just from my stance, from where I come from, and what are we gonna do? When I go to the family cookout, you're gonna be the only one that look like you. They're gonna be talking about things you don't even understand. The culture is just so different that it's just not gonna work out. From a socio-economic standpoint to a racial standpoint, it's not just. It's like you don't even understand what a bologna sandwich is. Like we try like what you know what I'm saying? Like you brought Lunchables to school. Like,
culturally,
there's culturally too many differences. Yeah.
So, question: do you feel like interracial, and I can't even say dating because some people use dating as take them out. There may be intimacy. There may be spend a little time, have fun, travel the world, but they don't build. So when you think of interracial building, so now you're having kids, now you're getting married, now you're starting life interracially. Do you think that is a threat to the Black family unit?
I think that it is very detrimental to the Black family unit. For one, now I'm gonna get on this now as a Black man. There are not a lot of real African American men. There's a lot of men who can make babies, but it ain't a lot of men who can take care of babies, pay a mortgage, pay rent, and so the Black women are already short staffed, and the ones that half of us are in prison through the system has already grabbed half of us, giving us felonies, make deal with depression issues because we can't get a job to sustain a family. So Black women are already at a disadvantage when it comes to just finding a quality black man. So when you are a quality black man, and it's not your responsibility, it's just something to be very cognizant of. It's not your responsibility to fix the world's problem, but
Right.
if you think about it, there are not a lot of good African American men. If you're a good African American man and you're taking your time to South Beach like LeBron James, okay, now you're creating a situation that adds fuel to the systematic problems in society. You know, if you're a good man, I'm not saying don't interracially date. What I'm saying is understand the dynamics
Right.
of what you're doing quantitatively.
So today's conversation is definitely going to be coming from the male perspective. Again, as I stated before, me and Elena kind of tackled it from a female's perspective in part one. If you didn't catch that, you can always go back to my YouTube, check out that first conversation, first part of this conversation. I had to get, I rallied a little help for this. So big shout out to Smut Talk Podcast. I reached out to my boy TBE to help me with this dialogue a little bit because he is in a interracial relationship. We had a little question and answer segment, and he actually recorded his answers for me, and we're gonna play it back. I wish that I could like put them on the screen so you guys can see. I'm going to compile a video later and be able to, so you guys can actually see him or whatever and where he had to go, but you'll definitely be able to hear it, and then you and I will kind of dissect his answers. Now, let me put a disclaimer out for him. His girl is mixed. She's white and she's black. I feel like that's a little bit of a difference. How about you?
I feel like she's black. That's what America said. If you got one drop of it's in the Constitution. Like one drop of African American, and you be black.
But see, I had to ask him. So looking at her, you wouldn't know. I thought she was white. So that's how this whole conversation with him even came up. But she mixed. But I did get a little bit of insight from somebody else, another member of the Smut Talk Podcast, who dates a white girl. And I got a little bit of insight from him too. And I probably will, spit a little bit of what he talked to me about as well. But for the most part, we're going to dissect TBE's comments. So I'm going to ask the question first, play his response, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? All right. Let me get a little picture of TBE up here so y'all can see who this is talking to y'all, giving y'all this info. So the very first question that I asked him, and kind of like we were talking before the show started, would you say dating outside your race is a preference? Because that is something that I have heard multiple times, that people will say their preference is not black women, their preference is white women, their preference is Spanish, exotic, whatever the case may be. So here's what Mr. TBE had to say about that.
Preference I got is women. I love.
Let me run that back.
Is it a preference? No. The only preference I got is women. I love women, and women love me. You heard
I
me.
wish y'all could see his
But
face.
now, if we get serious, I have no preference as far as race. But I'm also not the type to discriminate or hate someone that does date outside their race. You know what I mean? I'm not going to shame you for dating outside your race as long as you understand what race you are. If you want to be with a white woman, that's cool. Do your thing. If y'all happy, I'm happy. You feel me? But don't let her turn you into an Uncle Tom and forget what race you are, what side you need to stand for, and who you need to stand with at the end of the day.
Okay. So for him, dating outside his race is not a preference. He just like women, and the woman he happened to be with is not fully black. I also asked this question. I asked this question to a couple different people, and they said that it was equal, and I was kind of surprised how they tried to explain away race being a preference. How do you feel about that?
I think you can't say it any better than what he just said. It's like, don't have a preference, and I know people who have preferences based off stereotypes,
Mm-hmm.
and the stereotype is, okay, African American women are difficult. They're gonna put you on child support. They're gonna hand you over to the police. They're gonna make your life hell. Whereas white women are easy to deal with. And that stereotype in itself is ignorant. It's ignorant to like the whole. You gotta think about it. What type of women are you dealing with that are doing that? It's like every pit bull don't bite.
Right.
But you going to date a pit bull that was trained to fight other pit bulls, don't get mad when you get bit. You know, like it's like okay, yeah. So it's like the way he said it is there's no more eloquent way to put it.
Okay.
Don't have a preference. Just date who you date. You find somebody and they happen to be North Korean. Fall in love with them and go do your thing.
Right.
Don't have a preference. And that's where I have a problem with. Just like what he said. I know too many African American males right here in my community that say they don't date black women. They won't date black women. But it's the stereotype, and it's the stereotype of what they've seen growing up, and then what they experienced maybe once or twice. Oh, she always yelling at him. Think about the movie Friday. Just think about the movie Friday. Hey, daddy, that crazy bitch out there again. Nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to deal with that crazy bitch out there again. You know, everyone wants peace. So if that is the stigma for African American women, clearly you're gonna try to like stay away from it. But if you're educated enough and you're groomed enough, and like my man said, if you like women and you happen to be Sweet Jones and have a chance to deal with enough women, you will understand that's not all black women.
Right. It's not all black women. And I think that's the takeaway from it. You can't have a preference of race. You know, that's not a preference. Or to say that all black women are angry, all black women have drama, all black women come with all these issues, because that's not true. They have attitude. I feel like all women are spicy. You're going to get attitude from any woman that you're with. If something gives her reason to want to give you attitude. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. So, okay, great. So the second question that I asked him was, do you feel your partner understands the role she needs to play in supporting you as a black man in America? And I think this question is very, very important, because a lot of guys and women are dating outside of their race, in the climate that the world is in right now. It is really devastating to the African American community. And that's just the honest truth of it. So if you're dating someone who is not, you know, experiencing this struggle with you, do they even understand? Do they know how to support you? How are they making you to feel? Because I feel like a lot of people showed their true colors with everything, friends included, where all this stuff is going on and they're not saying nothing. They don't have an opinion. They're turning a blind eye, and it's like, that silence is real loud. We hear y'all.
Silence is oppression. Silence is the most oppressive thing you can do. If you don't have an opinion, even if your opinion, there's no such thing as a right or wrong opinion. If you have an opinion that's different than someone else's opinion, it'll create a dialogue that y'all can reach progress. So if you just quiet, you killing somebody.
Right.
You worse than the person with the gun. And when it comes to roles, I think this is my opinion. Any woman, whether they're white or black, which I highly doubt a white woman will understand this. Understand that as a black man, if I walk out of the door, I'm already at risk. Just going to work, I got to worry about not getting stopped for a traffic ticket, taking money out of my house, just profile for being black, not dying of a traffic ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got to worry about, depending on where you're from, Tyrone, who looked just like me, getting upset because I got him the shirt and tie. He might want to blast me just because I looked at him wrong. He cut me off in traffic, and I'm like, man, what you doing? And I got to worry about him pulling out a gun and shooting. So I'm worrying about us, them, and the system as a black man. So when I come home, no, I don't want that crazy bitch out there. No, I don't want her out there. When I come home, I need some kind of peace. Like this, it don't have to be cooked. You don't have to be clean. Like we share rules of the house, but there's some kind of peace. I don't want to come home to you looking for more problems if the world already going to give me problems with my skin alone.
Right. So I'm gonna read the question again, and then I'm gonna play his answer. Do you feel your partner understands the role she needs to play in supporting you as a black man in America? I kind of went off topic a little bit, and there is going to be another question pertaining to that. So let me dial it back just a little bit. Get too excited, jumping ahead. So the role that she needs to play in supporting him, and his answer was this.
most definitely think that she understands, her role as far as supporting me as a black man, And if she didn't, we wouldn't even be together. You know what I'm saying? I cannot be with somebody that does not feel my pain, at least to a certain level, especially with the way, the climate is right now in this world. Like right now, if you can't understand not just me as a black man, but us as black people, I gotta get you out of here. I mean, what are you in my life for if you're not even willing to understand where I'm coming from and what my people need at the end of the day?
Okay, TV, spend a little knowledge, a little bit. So my question though is, how do you feel about, again, his girl mixed, but if I have anybody that's tuned in right now that is interracially dating a white counterpart, fully white, how are they supporting you? Do they know? Like, he said something very valid here. If they can't understand what he's going through and to be able to support that, then you got to get them out of here. But how does that look when they really don't know what you're going through? Do you feel like, I don't even know how to ask the question that I'm trying to ask.
The way he said it is just so eloquent. I can't be with someone who doesn't understand black plight.
Right.
He didn't say he said not just me, but just my people.
In general.
I don't care if you're Asian. If you don't understand black plight, get away from it.
So do you think it's possible that's what I'm trying to ask. Do you think it's possible for white people to understand black plight?
I think there are some white people that understand black plight. And I can be honest with you, Nick, and this is my personal, and it could be a knock on my character. One of the things I don't like to see is a white man with a black woman. I hate it. I hate it because I'm like, this is a black queen. Is he using her as a is he using his vantage point, his bird's eye view vantage point, and his privilege in America that he can eat the other? Because at the end of the day, a white woman is inverse when it comes to black man and white woman. They can eat the other. Let's not forget, Emmett Till got killed for whistling at a white woman.
Right.
So if this white woman can have a preference of black man, that's her bird's eye, that's her privilege. I can't have a preference of white women. I can't walk up to any random white woman and she'll call the police for harassment. But if as a white man can walk up to you and say, "What's up, young lady, you're beautiful." And then you just brush him off. Oh, she got an attitude. Let me walk up to, matter of fact, let's go to the richest parts of our county, Sarah. Let's go to Sarasota TV. Let me just walk up to, I ain't talking about at the night scene. Just walk up to a white lady, walking the dog out of her house. The first thing she's gonna do is get scared. So that the dynamic of it is white women eat the other and white men eat the other. Bell Hooks, a renowned scholar, she's a college professor. Last time I checked, she was at HBCU. But she talks about this eating of the other and it's based off vantage point. It's like, okay, we can go back to our book. If you're a famous rapper, you're rich. All the hoochie mamas usually don't have money, so they chase you. They're the poor people. You're eating the other. You're eating people that are not on your level. You will not see Halle Berry chasing the baby.
Okay.
That's not the other. Like, you will not see Beyonce chasing NBA Youngboy around. NBA Youngboy go to the mall. People go crazy about NBA Youngboy. NBA, I guarantee you won't see Beyonce chasing NBA Youngboy. I promise you. But NBA Youngboy can eat the other. Those ones that are on his level.
I like that. I'm gonna have to
eating of the other. Bell Hooks is her name. She's in college. She writes books and she talks about just racial dynamics, class dynamics. She's a brilliant professor. So if you could eat the other, it's like it's not fair. Like if y'all on the same level, like this only time I agree with interracial relationships. If you are on the same platform, same level, white girl, as this black man, okay, so be it. But if I'm O.J. Simpson, the world's best running back, and you're a waiter, no, bro, and you wonder why you pop up dead. Because you don't even know this guy. You're chasing his title, his tag. You can eat the other. Whereas, flip the dynamics. If O.J. Simpson was white and that was a black waiter, he probably would have tapped that. She would have tapped in the left, tapped in the left. It wouldn't been no marriage and this holy matrimony. It wouldn't have been none of that. It would just been something to do. So you got to look at the dynamics of the relationship.
Interessante. That's actually a perfect lead-in to this next question that I asked him when we going to dissect. So the third question was, what is the reaction you notice most when people see you and your partner out in public? Because again, when I first saw a picture of her, I thought she was white. Maybe Spanish, but not mixed with black. I asked this question to one of my good girlfriends who is with a white man, and she said that they kind of look him up a little bit. And I think that's more so them trying to figure out why she's with him. Kind of like what you said, like what he got to offer that would make her want to be with him. I think in this time when interracial couples are out and about together, they do get a lot of attention. Not all positive, of course. You have people that are asking why are they with each other for various different reasons. I'm just gonna speak for myself. When I see a white man and a black woman together out in public, my first thought is, no, sis. And I think that that's just a natural reaction because I don't understand it. I could never date a white man. I think I have some really amazing white guys that I know, friends with, co-workers. I know some really amazing white men, but to build with, I can't see myself in that position. This particular white man that my friend dates, I think he's an amazing guy. They work well together. They fit. But initially when she first was like, she dated him, it was like, but why? So seeing a white man and a black woman is not understanding.
I agree wholeheartedly because with that situation is because there was no power dynamic. There was no bird's eye view. They knew each other since children. And they both graduated from the same high school. So it's not like one got money, one don't. So it's no eating of the other. It's no handpicking what you want. It's no like Offset dating Cardi B kind of thing. Like Cardi B, you have no money. Offset is with Migos. Like Migos can kind of just choose. If that's the couple that you think about, they actually like were friends in middle school, high school. That's not interracial. That's called growing up together.
So you think
that's called
that kind of
reason?
Do you think it's a difference for like, okay, so like when I mentioned to you that buddy that's we doing this dialogue with is from St. Louis, and you was like, where you even get a white girl from in St. Louis because everywhere in St. Louis is the hood.
It's segregated. It's like racist and shit.
So do you feel like if the white person grew up in the environment of
they understand, yeah.
Okay. So
if the white person,
different.
Yeah, it's way different than if you meet me and we get to know each other and then you find out what I do, because at that point you're dating what I do and not me. Mm-hmm. But if I know you from a child on, I just know you as a person. So if I'm just like Kim Kardashian, for instance, she didn't grow up with Kanye West. Kanye West from the south side of Chicago. She's dating what his title, his status. So that's where I have a problem with interracial dating. But it's not like if you grow up with somebody. So I think skin color doesn't create. I think lived experiences creates race, not skin color.
That's a different outlook.
Lived experiences creates race.
Okay.
If you have similar lived experiences as somebody, that creates race.
Interesting.
Class and culture is like a subgroup. Whereas, like, if you grew up in the suburbs, like, I ain't dating nobody when the car movie. I went to book. Okay. You paid to go to high school. I got free lunch. Fuck, we don't talk about.
Thanks. So I'm gonna play his answer to that. The reaction that they get when they out and about together.
usually their first response when they see us out in public is be like, damn, why you get hurt?
See?
No, but for real, I mean, people think my girl's gorgeous, you know, and I just want to be with somebody where I feel like nobody else is gonna want her. You know, don't nobody want to be with somebody that don't nobody else fucking want.
He is hilarious. I wish y'all could see his face. I wish y'all could see his face. I'm gonna definitely put his videos together and then like post them on my channel later so you guys can get the full reaction of these videos. But he took it on a more like physical appearance type vibe, not more so that it's a black dude with a white woman, but it's just kind of like, oh, she pretty. Where does dude come from?
Oh, trust me. When white men don't look at it like that. When they see her and see him, they get a little, it's a cringe with that. They're like, what's going on? He must, the first thing they're going to, was he a ball player? Was he a rapper? Oh, he got a good job. It's not his person. It's not his humane person. Maybe he's just a good person and a great man.
Right.
That's not coming to their mind. What's his status that qualifies him to be with that white woman? And that's why I have a problem with like the whole interracial dating thing. If it's a status involved, then yeah, it's a problem. But even when the black dudes, damn, how you get hurt, they looking at like, I keep it blood raw. Oh, he must be milking her for some money or something. She got money and she got it, and he milking her for some money from the vice versa, from the other, vantage point. So, which I'm pretty sure that's not the case, but I don't even know. But he seemed like pretty straightforward down like dude.
Right.
But just the whole perception of like the dynamics and more, it's very rare. Now it does happen where two people just have a lot in common, same experience, understand the black plight, he understands her plight, and they happily ever after.
Right.
Shout out to him. But 90% of the time, that's not the case.
Right. So kind of like what you said, because I did speak on my personal perspective when I see a white man with a white woman. It's kind of like me being confused a little bit about what's happening. But when I see a black man with a white woman, and I was having this dialogue with an associate of mine, and I said it doesn't make me upset to see a black man with a white woman, but it's just kind of like, if he's a good black man, it's just like, damn, like you could have been, and I don't want to offend anybody when I say this, but it's just like, damn, you could have been a strong black head of household in a black family. And it's like, kind of like you were saying, good black men are scarce when it comes to building and growing and having that strong family dynamic. So it's like,
I call them Christmas dads, Christmas and birthday dads. On Christmas, they're gonna come through with $300 worth of Jordan for their kids. On New Year, they coming through, dropping some money off, but they forget the other 362 days of the year you have to raise that child, right, and protect that family. And there are not a lot of black men that do that.
Right.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, the ones that do that, I'm not gonna put myself in that category because I'll be very early. The temptation is horrible. You got people trying to break up that dynamic.
Right.
You can't walk to the store without, I seen your little girlfriend, I seen your little wife, what you doing this weekend? They want to break that up because it's something that's so scarce. Anything that's scarce has value. So you want a piece of it.
Right.
People chase diamonds. People chase gold. If it's scarce,
you
want a piece of it. So there's this weird dynamic with being a good black man. Because it's like, dude, sometimes you go to work, you can introduce your wife to your job. Hey, smile right in her face when she leaves it for me.
Right. I think that too, and it's a whole nother conversation for another day. That goes into when women get a taste of a good black man, and then that foundation starts getting a little shaky, and they go to holding on dear life because it's like, nope, where you going? Because this is I'm not gonna be able to find this again. And that's funny, but that's a really good point.
Interesting
dynamic. That's a really good point. Damn, I was going somewhere with that though. Oh, so then this guy proceeded to say, in regards to Black women get upset when they see black men with white women because they feel like they're jealous or like white women taking over. And they first of all, I think that is the dumbest stereotype that I have ever heard before, and it plays into self-hate. Don't you project your self-hate on me, because I will never feel inferior or jealous of a white woman. Now, mind you, I will never feel inferior or jealous about a beautiful black woman. So that has nothing to do with anything. It's not that, oh, I feel like she's prettier than me or better than me, so she got this black man. You can put me next to Beyonce, and I'm going to feel like, okay, sis, I see you doing your thing, but so am I. So it's like, I don't dislike myself enough to be jealous that a white woman is with a black man. It's more so, like I said, the scarcity of a good black man and being able to, fuel that image of the solid, strong black family unit. And now that's not happening because the bloodline is now.
And that's why I think it's very important to get onto like the quantitative like data behind it. That's why it's very important to like be aware before you make decisions. Like, for instance, it's not that the football players want white women. It's not that the rich people want lighter skinned women. Colorism is real. They did studies on babies, black, white, blue, and green, and they asked every kid which doll was pretty. Mm-hmm. Everybody grabbed the white doll. Yeah. Which doll is the ugly one? Everybody grabbed the black. So if your mind is already programmed to think something is better,
study I have ever seen.
And it's it's TV, media, society in general. Right. You're taught white. You'll see a young black girl or boy and a white older person walk by. They'll put their head down. They're not looking in the eye. But you'll see a black man walk by and they size. Because they talk like you ain't nothing to bow down to. So we're programmed. So a lot of it has to do with like this, the psychology of programming the mind to think what's better, what's lesser. So it's not like the individuals that do date white. It's not like they're picking. Some of them are literally picking white because that's just a great person. They really don't see color. Mm-hmm. That's just a great person. However, once you're aware of the like psychological and the quantitative and the historical, systematic self-hatred, the colorism, I consciously date black women. Right. Because I know I'm a fucking nerd. So that's to be honest with you. Like, I consciously say, my mom went through too much. I'm bringing my mother home. Someone who looks like my mother, not my mama, right? I do that consciously because I will never forget. Before I left to go to college, I flew to all-white college in Pennsylvania. And my grandma was so happy for me. My brother was so happy for me. We were sitting in the front room. She said, "You're going to bring home a white girl. Because you're the only one that's going to be in an environment where there are abundance of white, smart girls." Yeah. And I looked at her, I said, "You got me, man, grandma, don't kill me." So it's conscious, like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, it's not trading. It's just like, no, I'm coming here for education, not a woman. But when I was in college, I had to ask the girls, my school cost $250,000 to go to. I played football for free. I was like, why do y'all pay $250,000 to come to college? Why won't y'all just use that to start a business at 18 and 19? She said, the young lady, white young lady, girl, we come to school for our missus degree.
Explain to the people what that means. If you've never heard that
We come to school for our missus degree to find someone of the same status that got a good job, college educated. It don't matter if they like them, it don't matter if they're attracted to them, just because they're on a certain threshold, a certain platform. That's why we like them. So basically, you can love somebody that works at McDonald's. He can be the nicest guy in the world, but you're dating off status. So in my head, I'm telling my grandma, just because I go to a school where it's not an abundance of black women, don't mean I'm going to come home with a pizza.
Not a pizza.
No, that's not. I'm not. No.
We are here because perfect lead in to the next question. So something else that came up in this conversation is that Black men who date white women have issues with their mothers. And it's that, because you know how you just said, I'm bringing my mama home. Somebody that look like my mama. My grandma told me this. That I had to. You have men who were raised by maybe angry moms, poverty. What they saw was anger. What they saw was the attitude of the drama. What they saw was, I got 5 brothers and sisters. We all got different daddies. What they saw was, a lot of different things. So when they grew up, it was, I don't want none of that. I don't want nothing to do with that. And what that looks like is kind of like what you said, what society has deemed as right. White people don't act like that. White women don't come with that. White women can do different things for me than black women do. So I asked Mr. TBE to describe the relationship between himself and his mother. We're going to get his answer, and then I want you to kind of go a little further into your relationship with your mom.
So, me and my mom, shout out to my mom, by the way. You know what I'm saying? She's my number 1 supporter. Me and my mom relationship is like this. You feel me? Like, she's my supporter. She's my therapist. She's my life coach. You know what I mean? She plays so many roles in my life. I can't even write them down and make a list for you. You know, there ain't enough paper in the world to write down how many roles she has played and is currently playing in my life, especially now as an adult. You know, I don't know what people know, but being an adult is hard. You hear me? Like, you feel me? Like, trying to figure things out and navigate your way through these adult waters, it's tough, man. It's not only mentally tough, but emotionally it's tough, man. It will make or break you, man. I'm thankful, to have someone like her to still support me, you know what I mean? To push me as a man, to push me as a father, and to push me as a significant other. You know what I mean? She teaches me right from wrong. She tells me what, I'm doing wrong, number 1. Like that's the biggest thing. Like, she's not my baby don't do no wrong. No, you messed up. Like, she gonna tell me straight up, you messed up. And I need that personally. I don't know if how many people will actually own up to it and say they need that push, but I'm definitely one of those people. Like, don't just gas me up. You know what I mean? Let me know when I'm messing up and allow me to fix my mistakes. And she constantly does that. And I appreciate you for that, Mom. I appreciate you.
Shout out to moms. Shout out to TBE mama.
Shout out for real. Shout out.
So my thing is, I feel like that's black women in general. That push that he's talking about, that standing in the paint, that calling you out on your bullshit, that, the supporter, all the stuff that he just said, the relationship that he has with his mother, I feel like that's just kind of like embedded in our DNA as women. Like, we just are there to, that's how that works. I was going somewhere with that and I lost it. Oh, you kind of spoke on that. Like, I want to bring home, my mama. I'm consciously making the decision to bring home my mother. What does that look like for you, like, in your actual relationship with your mom? Because you mentioned before, grandma said, oh, you're going to come home with a white woman. What do moms say about, well, I know you're in a relationship now, but like prior to, like, was that something that was acceptable or not?
My mom let me do whatever I want. Like, when I was in elementary school, I had this white girl I used to like a lot. Her name was Brittany. I was at Southside Elementary. Mom always kept me at the best school. So nobody never looked like me at my school. Even though when I went home, I never see nobody that looked like them at home. So I actually, my mom was very, like, she let me have my own way. Like, if I wanted, like, I made the conscious decision to, like, okay, once I became educated, I used to like white girls. I can see a white girl right now, fine as all I do. Like, what's up, mama? But not, but you get what I'm saying? Like,
right.
But it's a conscious decision when it comes to building a family unit that I can't bring it home. I dealt with a plethora of white women. I went to all white college. But I'm just saying, when it comes to bringing, and I don't think that when black men have mommy issues, I think that may be one case when they date outside of their race, because what I think is growing up in a certain situation that systematically mommy didn't create, black families are disenfranchised. Like we don't have the 2-parent home. That's not normal. That's like rare. What we got? I can't say the name, but we got 3 or 4 people we know where mommy and daddy was in the house their whole life. So it's like that's not the norm. And
Right.
then you look on the other side of the bridge and you see what looks normal. And everyone wants to pursue happiness and peace.
Mhm.
So mama got to be harder on you, like young man just said. She got to play every role.
Right.
The other roles are missing. So she got to play every role. So it's not so much that they date outside of their race because they have bad relationships with their mom. Like I have little cousins, when they were in high school, they told me they would never date a black woman, and it was because they were raised by their fathers,
Mhm.
and they see what from their perspective, all they see it was joint custody situation. From their perspective, all they see is mama put him on child support, mama
Mhm.
taking all daddy money. Daddy can't live, but daddy still got me because it was real man.
Right.
They didn't care about the money; they cared about raising a child, raising a
Right.
good human. But they didn't understand that was just the system of pops people want big mama.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they can't tell the kid that because that's
Situational.
your mama. That was
Right.
situational. Like you can't bash your mama. That's your
Right.
mama.
Right.
So they actually had built this thing for their mother because they're like, I live with my daddy, but she's taking all his money. He can't buy me what I want. So it's all situational. So it's like, but the father wouldn't compromise. You can have all this money. I want to raise my child so he's not dead in jail.
Right.
So it's situational. Like it ain't always like they have a problem with black women.
Mhm.
I wonder how it works. Like I never understood the white man and black man. I just unless you grew up together. Like if you didn't grow up together, like what about like Janet Jackson or something? Man, you a billionaire. What you would not go to Gary, Indiana and walk around there and see Janet Jackson and say, hey, you look good, girl.
Why not?
Because he was a billionaire when he was born.
You don't think that it? Well,
Yeah,
Janet
would
had
go
a lot of
around
money
that.
too. So then you look at it that when you
Well,
look at the
she had a
star
title.
levels, well,
Janet
status.
got like
But that's what I
400
mean.
million in divorce from him.
But that's what I'm saying. When you're looking at the status, you get the star level. Now you in a different.
No, my point
you
is
on a
this.
different level than
If
the
he would have
typical
seen
black
Janet,
woman.
and it was just regular Janet, and he was just riding through Gary for a business meeting, he would have brought Janet to his hotel, sent Janet back to that same house that the Jackson 5 grew up in, and flew on by this business. He would not have got her pregnant. That's Michael Jackson's sister. Like, it's Janet Jackson. So it's like that to me, that's eating of the other. Like he gave her $400 million for it. I'll take that any day.
I mean, I like to believe that there are some black women out there that is just. I mean, the black woman to me, anyway, is just a magical being. We are beautiful. We are strong. We are the epitome of. Somebody's like, I want a trophy. You want a black woman. That's what that is. So when you see these white men that do like and fall in love with and marry and have children with black women, I think that that's what they're seeing. That black girl magic. She's beautiful. Maybe her personality outshines. Something about her sparks that interest. It may not necessarily be I just want to take her down, and it's there's something that's pushing through that we exude all the time, and they just picked up on it.
I agree. Now I'm thinking about Eminem and.
You
I'm thinking about how everybody, all the white kids hate their mom. So, I can see that.
They just want a piece of that melanin magic.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I can see that definitely.
That's funny. Okay. I'm trying to see if I even want to play this one. I asked him, did he pursue her or did she pursue him? Because somebody was making a comparison that black men don't have to pursue the white woman.
We don't. That's a fact.
Okay.
That is a social.
So I am going to play his video.
Then. That is a fact. I ain't never.
I'm going to play his video for
ever.
that one. That they pursue y'all.
They're gonna give you. They're gonna let you know they won't.
So I asked him, did who pursue who, and here was his response.
So, me and my mom.
Oh,
shout out to
video.
me comes to being vocal about what's going on, oh man, listen. So the story for me and my girl, like, it's so crazy. I'm just gonna sum it up for you. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna have to talk about this. I'm gonna get the long story. To sum it up, basically, you know what I mean? We played a cat and mouse game for a little while. You feel me? Like, I wanted her, she wasn't ready. She wanted me. I had already moved to another relationship. You know what I'm saying? But in the end, she just fought for me. You know what I mean? She allowed me to do what I needed to do, make the mistakes that I needed to make, just to find my way to her.
Oh God!
So like, I mean, that's pretty much the short of it. But the long story, y'all ain't even ready for the long story yet, man. Y'all is not ready for the long story.
That's hilarious.
when they make their mind up, when they don't care if they have to share.
She fought for him.
They don't care if they have to share. When they make their mind up, they want you. They coming. Ain't nothing they gonna send a friend at you. They gonna be persistent and persistent and persistent and persistent. All you gotta do, man, look here. I worked in corporate America for a long time. You know that. So I got in the teaching.
Right.
Look here. I drew a fake wedding.
Keep them off.
I would.
That make them want you more.
No, there's no better.
I heard the wedding ring attract them more.
It depends on the environment. Like if you're in the work setting, they ain't gonna approach you. Like I haven't been in a meeting where that ain't having a ring. Are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? You look too good to be single. Sexual harassment in the workplace. Really.
Right.
Like my team. I can't say the organization. I was just like, they make their mind up, and then you don't have to. First off, 9 times out of 10, if you give them a look, they may be interested. But it ain't too many black men just gonna walk up on the white woman saying you have. It ain't. You gotta.
Okay.
Nuts
so
and
you
black
think
man.
that's culturally?
Who's gonna walk up on the white? You see what happened to Emmett Till, man?
Oh my
goodness
gracious!
Oh Lord.
Again, perfect lead-in, because the final question that I asked was, how vocal is your partner in regards to the racial climate the world is in right now? And does she take interest in your struggles as a black man in America? His answer was...
I appreciate it. Hey, before I head out,
Nope. Yeah. I clicked on it earlier. It's right.
So when it comes to being vocal about what's going on in this whole, I'm just gonna say 2020. You hear me? I don't even know how to describe what's going on in the world right now. It's just full of madness, all over the place. But when it comes to being vocal about what's going on, my girl, she's vocal to an extent that she's getting way better at that. You know what I mean? Because she's not a vocal person like that in general. You know what I mean? Like she don't post all over social media like that. She may post selfies every now and then, but when it comes to talking, she's not talking like that. You hear me? But like, she is getting so much better to the point like I can't be no prouder. You know what I mean? Like she calling people out. She telling people, what's good, what's like looking at people, talking to them like, what is you telling me right now? Like, what are you saying? And I appreciate that, especially as a black man with what's going on. Having someone to support you like that, like, it's above and beyond, you heard me? Like, I can't ask for much more.
I like that answer, especially because I know him, he has a son. And I feel like raising a little brown boy in this world and in this climate, it's going to take both parents. It's not. I understand him as a father being the example and being, the one to lead and teach, but she has to be that support. and she has to be able to speak out because there may be instances where mom is out with kid, and if you look white but kid looks brown and kid is, discriminated on, mom is gonna have to stand in the paint, and she can't be afraid or not vocal or not wanting to acknowledge that shit be happening to the point where now kid is growing up feeling not protected by mom. Like, oh, my dad the only one that understands me. My dad is the only one that has my back. And that's unhealthy on a whole nother level. And I feel like I've seen that so many times when there are interracial couples that do have children. The white parent doesn't really know how to respond to the little brown child experiencing discrimination, experiencing those injustices, because it's not their experience. It's not their understanding. It's not their struggle. So they don't even know what to say to soothe that child, to make them feel, better about it, to stand firm in who they are. They like, well, we got to wait till we get back home to daddy because I don't get it. And I think that's, that takes it to a whole nother level.
You don't get why the store couldn't follow him around just because he stepped into the makeup section.
Right.
But that has to be, now that is one thing I have to apply in the racial couples that figure that out.
Right.
Because within same race couples, when there's a split home, is it their child together?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they good. Oh, they good. Yep. That's it. She want motherly love gonna take you. Period. That's what came out of her. She gonna hold her.
Hope, right?
Yeah.
We will hope.
She better. It don't sound like a boy play around.
Right. Shout out to TVE. Shout out to TVE. I definitely appreciate you for, getting those videos to me, answering my questions, letting me be nosy about your relationship and the dynamic of your household and everything like that. Again, I'm going to have to compile those videos together and get it on the channel so you guys can check that out, because his facial expressions and reactions are hilarious. Shout out to TVE again. Shout out to Small Talk Podcast. Oh, I'm gonna let him. He did send me a drop video, so let me just go ahead and let him get that off real quick.
A drop video.
Hey, before I head out, like I said, I appreciate you for having me on here today. You know what I mean? Big shout outs to you, the podcast, everything you're doing. It's amazing. You know what I mean? The inside mindset that you bring is much needed. You know what I mean? Before I go, shout out to the gang, you know what I'm saying? Westside Diddy, TJ Koolash. Find us at Smart Talk on every single platform, man. Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, Twitch. We on everything, man. You know what I'm saying? Go look us up. We everywhere. Follow the IG at Smut Talk Podcast. You know what I mean? We give it smut every single week. You know what I'm saying? If you don't learn nothing from my podcast, you're gonna laugh. You definitely gonna laugh. You know what I mean? Shout out to Do More. We appreciate everybody that's doing more out here. You know what I mean? Shout out to the guys over at Do More, the people over at Do More, man. Everything that y'all doing, keep it up, man. We definitely out here supporting, man.
So that's that. That's all the insight I got from my boy TV. I definitely appreciate that again. Leroy coming through with knowledge per usual. I always love our talks. These happen on screen and off. We're friends in real life. We have this dialogue more often than you would think. So I definitely appreciate that. Every time I call, you come and help me out with these combos. And that's that. I'm thinking about it. It might be a part 3 to this. Not sure yet, because I did have a couple people hitting me up, wanting more information, wanting to give their little 2 cents about it, asking more questions. So I might have to give the people what they want. Might be a part 3 next week. I'll let you guys know. Thank you again for rocking with me, as you always do every Thursday. Down in the bottom, Dreamer is available, barnesandnobles.com. If you haven't got your copy, make sure that you hit that link up, get a copy of my book. Let me know how you love it, because I know you're going to love it. And that's that. Appreciate y'all for another conversation on As Told by Nate, the podcast. I'll see you guys right back here next week, same time, Thursday, 8 p.m. for another talk. Maybe we'll be talking about living in the grave. Maybe we won't. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you are up to date with all that is. And I will see you guys next week, where we will talk about it.